I overheard my wife saying that she settled for me. I was her last resort. Hi, welcome to my channel. Today, we've got a story from r/relationship_advice where overheard his wife saying that she settled for him. Before we start, if you have any personal stories of relationship issues and problems that you and your significant other faced, that you want to share, feel free to email them to me. Let's get started. First story. Exactly what the title says. I overheard my wife talking to one of her best friends on the phone while I was passing the bedroom. This friend is in a serious relationship. My wife then said to her, "Sweetie, remember it's your choice. Don't settle for just anyone. That's the mistake I made. Who knows who else I could have had. My name was my very last resort, and now look where it made me end up." Hearing that honestly broke my heart in two. Does she even love me? Why am I being treated as a second base? Am I being dramatic and overreacting? I haven't said anything about it since. I honestly don't know what to do, but hearing her say has made me upset. Update, just did one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Today after breakfast I told her we should sit down and talk. She was hesitant, but I said it was important. We went to the living room and she said to me, "I already know what this is about." My post made it to the front page, so of course, she saw it after scrolling down a bit under popular. Of course, the waterworks started happening right away. I told her what she said had deeply hurt me, but obviously, she already knew that since she read my post. Through her tears, she said, "I was just joking, I wasn't serious." She then went on saying stuff like, "I love you, I love you." I told her I can't be in a marriage where my significant other doesn't love me the same way I love them. She tried to tell me that she loved me and that I meant something to her. But it was all bullshit. She said she didn't want to lose me. I told her I don't think this marriage was the right decision. And from there I told her it was over. I told her I knew how she felt about me, and that it was fucked up how she played with my emotions. For all those wondering, we have no kids, and I pay fully for the apartment we live in, and I own almost everything we have other than her clothes. I even pay for her car. So after all of this, she'll have little to nothing left. Before our marriage, we agreed to sign a prenup, and at that moment, I've never been so happy with a decision I've made in my life. After that, it was a few seconds of awkward silence, before she said to me, "Fuck you." She started screaming at me, telling me you just can't end things like that. I told her I could do whatever I wanted, and that's when she became very hostile. She screamed at me saying, "You're the fucking worst relationship I've ever been in. You think I can't find someone again? Do you think you'll ever find someone as good as me? You're a fucking idiot, my name." She grabbed her bag and phone, and said, "I'm leaving," before slamming the door behind her. At that moment I felt like I was on one of those dramatic sitcoms you'd find on TV. I sat down on the couch and cried, and I'm still crying as I type this up. It's both happy and sad tears, and I knew it was only time before she cheated on me or left me. She never loved me, it was obvious. Our relationship only went one way, and I feel like a complete idiot for not seeing it earlier. I live in California, and I'm gonna start the process to annul our marriage. Tomorrow, I'm gonna start throwing all of her belongings into trash bags, 'cause that's essentially where they belong. I'm not throwing out her stuff. Just use the trash bags as a way to give her back the things she owns. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your kind words and your great advice. All of you gave me the courage to stand up for myself, and I know my life will certainly improve as a result. Now let's look at some comments. Shay Hawk wrote, "Damn, man. That's fucking stone cold. Someone who loved and respected you wouldn't say that, man. I would tell her you hurt her and are done, but that's me. I couldn't continue being with someone who was only with me because they wanted stability and didn't care about me." Wildly Mediocre wrote, "Fucking brutal. I am so sorry to hear that. You should talk to her about it. You should never be somebody's last resort if that's how she feels. Maybe that relationship isn't working." Pink Caramel Pudding wrote, "Don't be someone's second choice, heck. Don't be her last choice. You're not worth that little. You deserve someone who can appreciate you for you." Illy Keplance 92 wrote, "I am sorry to hear that. You shouldn't marry someone who thinks about you like that. You deserve better. Don't settle for her if that is how she thinks about you. You shouldn't be a safety net for someone. If she thinks she could do better, she wouldn't stay with you. She will try over the next years to find someone else and divorce you. Don't do that to yourself. I know that sounds harsh, but please don't lie to yourself and find excuses for her because you love her." Unknown Iker wrote, "Hey man, don't throw her stuff into trash bags. Pack it all nicely, one put away into boxes. It's both a therapeutic and powerful act. This means this isn't just a knee-jerk emotional reaction, but one that was carefully thought out." Kierkegaard wrote, What the fuck is wrong with people? How can you treat someone that loves you as she did to you? People can be so goddamn cruel and selfish, it amazes me. As soon as she didn't get her way through, the crocodile tears stopped, and her pretty little mask fell off completely. That nasty shit she said to you? That's the real her, don't you ever forget that. When you fluster someone who's pretending to be something else, they drop the act and the truth comes out, unguarded, just like it did when she was on the phone with her friend. Take it from someone who was married to a narcissist too. When I was ending it, she said the same shit to me. Now she's with someone twice her age for money and security, and she's miserably lonely since he travels a lot. Knowing your worth and what you deserve, you're already there. Now, it's gonna suck for a while, there's no doubt, but stay strong, and lean on your support network for a while. It's so much better you found this out now and forced some perspective, rather than 10 years from now. Kurgro wrote. Honestly though, you should be happy you heard it. You heard the fucking truth. She doesn't have the strength to say it to your face, so never bring it up, because if you do, she'll play games to manipulate you into thinking otherwise. She's a very good actress considering she got you to fucking put a ring on her finger. Regardless, tuck it fucking close to your chest as a reminder of what you are to her. Then, moving forward, understand if you divorce her, she'll possibly empty your wallet. Love ain't a contract, dude, it's a choice. She should be fucking working her ass off to make you desire her again. Demote her in your mind. Don't do nice shit for her, don't do her favors, don't let her control you with sex, don't let her have any fucking power over you anymore. Thank God you heard this shit, now you can live how you want on your terms because she fucking blatantly stated her relationship with you is a fucking mistake. The fucking nerve, my God, just thinking about your situation while I'm writing this frustrates me. She doesn't own you, or your love, so stop giving IT to her. Flake Track wrote. There is no coming back from that. That's the kind of thing my wife and I say as a joke to each other, but if she ever actually meant it I'd prepare to leave. Squirrel some money away and get a good lawyer lined up, it's only downhill from here. Note Good with Shaft wrote. Honestly, that's just a shitty thing for her to do. Do you want to spend the rest of your life with that person? You got your life ahead of you, millions of choices, don't give her the comfort she settled for. Nubian King 87 wrote. Mate, not only did you do the right thing, you did the difficult thing. You are worth more than you realize and you know this. You have one life, make the most of it. I was so glad to hear you didn't have children. You can get a clean break and without doubt, you will find someone better when you're ready to date again. Before we take a look at another story from our /relationship_advice where Op's fiancé decided to save Op's late father's stuff over her late mother's stuff in a raging fire, take a moment to like the video to show your support to the channel. Don't forget to leave your own opinion on the story in the comments down below. Second story. 2 nights ago, my fiancé accidentally set fire to our kitchen and the fire extinguisher in our apartment was defective. The fire spread quickly and burned through most of the building before they were able to contain it. I wasn't home, so I wasn't there to help my girlfriend gather anything up. If I was, I would have forced her outside and told her to leave it all. It's just stuff. She chose differently. First, she took out 2 dogs outside and handed them off to a neighbor on leashes. Then she went back in. At this point, the kitchen was engulfed in flames and she couldn't make it into the living room, but she could get into the bedroom. She knew she wouldn't be able to make 2 trips and she had to act fast. Both of us have lost parents. I lost my dad 3 years ago. He was a friend of her father's, so she knew him, though not very well, but he died before I met her. I have most of my dad's stuff in a storage unit, but in our bedroom, I have his ashes, 2 guns, and a couple of other very personal things from my time with him. She lost her mom as a teenager, and because her father is an asshole, she only has a few small things of hers, and her wedding dress. Instead of choosing to save the few things that she has of her mom's, she gathered up my father's things, wrapped them in a sheet, and ran out of the room. I don't even know how to begin to say thank you. I'm so completely devastated by her losing her mom's things like that, and I can't imagine what she was thinking or how much she must love me to make that decision. I don't know how to repay her. Or where to begin. Can anybody think of a nice gesture I can make it up to her? She must be devastated. I can't imagine losing the last bit of my dad. Now let's look at some comments. Not That Valley Girl wrote. This is going to sound corny, but there may be no way to repay her, just be there for her and show her your appreciation through actions and behaviors. In terms of those actions, is there any way you can salvage any carbon-based burnt thing of her mother's and have it turned into a gemstone? Like there's a company called Life Gem or something that turns cremated remains into diamonds. Some glass blowers and artists can turn ashes into beautiful memorial keepsakes for much cheaper. Might be morbid, but I'm the sort who appreciates the effort of turning bad into good, tragedy into beauty. It might breathe new life into what was otherwise destroyed. Country Lemon wrote. Clearly, at that moment, she chose to save what she loves most of all, your heart and happiness. I think she thought to herself to save what she had left, you. She has all her mom's memories wrapped up inside her. She didn't know what losing your dad's stuff would do to you, so she decided not to risk it and protect you. Goddamn, that's powerful. You better marry that girl. Just spend the rest of your life treating her right. My side note would be to get something engraved with her mother's name. My best friend's husband got her a ring with her mom's name engraved on the inside and their birthstones side by side in the band. Pigeon Bird wrote. This moved me to tears. What a beautiful human being. Maybe you could make a special trip to her mother's memorial together, and while you're there you could give her something special as well as a letter to tie your love and gratefulness to her love for her mother. Buttercup Bride wrote. Just never, ever forget it. When you're married and you have those stupid power battles and you know something is petty but you can't let it go because it feels like letting a part of yourself go, remember this and let it go. She's a keeper. Genocide wrote. Not knowing what all she had of her mom's, at the moment she might have figured the dress would be too hard to get and carry out compared to the items you described of your dad's. Guns and ashes are smaller items. I would go out and contact any family of hers and try and get something of her mother's for her to have. Otherwise, just continue to love and appreciate her every day, even more so than usual since you now know what a selfless and thoughtful partner you have. Do more for and give more of yourself and love to her. You know you're in a wonderful relationship when you feel as if you have the better deal, and it makes you do more for and shows more love towards your partner. Messerschmitt wrote. A lot of people are suggesting you have the wedding dress recreated, but only do that if you know your fiancée was planning on wearing her mother's dress. She might not want it. When you move into a new place you can give her a gift that evokes her mother. For example, you could get as many photos you can of her mother online, from friends and family, wherever, and Photoshop a nice memorial collage. If anything of her mother survived, a little lace from the dress or something, you could include it. Recently, someone I know lost her mother and she had very few mementos. I had a set of wind chimes engraved with her mother's name and life dates. She loved that. You could try that, too. The truth is you can't repay your fiancée and she doesn't expect you to. And that's okay. Recalcitrant Jerk wrote. I'm sorry this happened to you, how awful what you're both going through. I would just like to point out a couple of things that maybe you haven't noticed yet since you're probably still in a bit of shock. They say you can't know someone unless you've experienced both joy and misery together. I'm not sure how true that is, but knowing how you work together in times of crisis is something that I do think is important in every relationship. In a time of stress and panic, her first thought was of you. In a time of loss and stress, your primary thoughts are of her. This is wonderful and says a lot about both of you. During a time that a lot of couples would be at each other's throats, uncertainty, stress, panic, you're wondering how to show your deep affection and love. From where I'm standing, it sounds like you guys make a great team. Whatever you do end up doing, make sure to simply tell her how much you appreciate her. Miss MySpace 14 wrote. She sounds like an amazing woman. How do you repay her? Strive to grow with her, to love her in the bad times and the good. Continue to be open and honest. Love her. And on hard days, look inwardly to see what kind of love you need to give yourself. Stay faithful and patient. Something like this can never be repaid, the only thing that could come close is to just love her. Unconditionally. Through everything. From your words, it sounds like she chose you at a very difficult time. Chose her in difficult times. Blossom together. Have a beautiful life together. What do you think about all of this? Do you think the op from the first story does the right thing by dumping his wife? Also, do you think the op from the second story has got a keeper in his fiancée? Let us know in the comments down below. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. Hit the notification bell to make sure you never miss an upload.